folks, Linda here. Today we are going to take these jalapeno peppers and we are going to make chipotle seasoning. Because jalapenos have some heat, you're going to want to wear gloves. So I grew a lot of jalapenos this year, and I also wanted to do a bigger batch of seasoning, so I went out and bought some others. So there's definitely some size difference between the homegrown ones and the ones I bought at the store, but they will all do a great job. I couldn't find red jalapenos, which are also really nice because they're a little bit sweeter, but you can make your chipotle seasoning with jalapenos that are green. So if you can only find the green ones, don't worry. So you're just going to cut the ends off and then cut them lengthwise. I run my knife down the center of them. Use this little measuring spoon to help scrape out the insides. If you like it with a little bit more heat, then leave the seeds in. They'll be ground into a powder later in the process. But if you don't like it as hot, then take those seeds out. I only just learnt about that jalapenos, smoking them makes chipotle, so I was looking up different ideas on what to do with my jalapeno peppers, and came across some information on making chipotle, so I was very excited to give this a try. This will be my first time trying this. I have made paprika by growing paprika pepper, so if you're interested in learning how to do that, I have a video on that as well. So I've made paprika every year for the last few years, as well as some just general pepper seasoning, but this will be the first time doing chipotle. I'm just putting them onto the wire rack flush side down because they're going to go into the smoker next, and you want them flush side down just so that the smoke coming out from the bottom, pardon me, smoke coming out from the bottom hits the flesh side of the pepper.
So next thing we're going to do is put them in the smoker. This is a hot smoker, so I'm just going to put in some alder wood chips. You can use hickory or mesquite or any other type of wood. I just happen to have this one. I'm going to do two, maybe three pans of wood. So the intent is to smoke, not to cook them, because next they're going to go into the dehydrator. Right, so these guys are done now. So they had three rounds of smoke on them.
So now that the smoking is finished, we're going to move them onto the dehydrator trays and pop them into the dehydrator. They're still really, really wet, which is totally fine. So it's going to take about 12 hours at least to dehydrate these. You can do them in the oven on your lowest temperature, and that works, as well as if you have a dehydrator. Obviously you can pop them in there.
Then they go to the dehydrator. If you're doing hot peppers, it's also, or something that's extremely fragrant like onions, it's also best to do them outside. So I have this one out on the deck. I'm going to set it for 12 hours at 125 degrees Fahrenheit. There we go.
All right, these are out of the dehydrator, and you want to make sure that when you pull them out that they snap. If they have any flexibility in them still, pop them back in the dehydrator and give them a few more hours. So in order to grind them up really well, they need to have that snap to them. So into the grinder they go. You still want to use your gloves even at this stage to protect your hands, and make sure that you're not, rubbing your eye or anything else, because that can definitely hurt. I know you can go out and just, buy yourself some Chipotle, or, this is a lengthy process to go through to get a product, but, I really do believe in going back to some of those traditional skills that we as a society have lost over the generations, and learning how to do some of these things yourself, and growing your own food, and learning how to preserve it and make it into some delicious things that you can enjoy, and definitely be able to enjoy throughout the season. We also do a lot of these types of things as gifts as well, and share with family and friends, usually through the holiday season, so that they can enjoy it too. And it's definitely been well received. All right, so this is a spice grinder. You can use it for a whole bunch of different things. What I like about this one is, one, it's fairly inexpensive, but it also seals really, really well. So for when using it for hot peppers, then it doesn't create a lot of overflow. So if you've used a coffee grinder and you've got your coffee grounds that are kind of escaping around the edges when you open it up, this kind of locks it in nice and tight and gives a really good grind. But you can't do it for very long. It's very, very fast and efficient. If you create heat within this unit by grinding for a lengthy period of time, then the peppers get all gummy and sticky. So it only takes a few short little bursts and then it's done. Forgot to mention, I'm going to put my mask on for when I open it up and I don't get that all over. So for this stage, there's a few things that you need to have ready. One is a funnel. I use a metal one that doesn't have any little bumps or nooks and crannies in it that the seasoning can get stuck in. So the metal one works great, and mason jar is also a good storage space for spices. Also, you can reuse your sealers if you're a canner. The ones that have been used before make really good way of recycling and using it for dry goods. I also use just a cheap paintbrush in order to get the seasonings out of the grinder and into the jar. A mask is also essential. I have opened this, that's why I'm coughing, because it's got a little irritation in the air already. So using a mask is important when using this, so you don't get all that hot pepper dust into your lungs. You can also use a sieve and put it on top of your funnel, because there's typically little pieces of the peppers that haven't been ground as finely as you might like. So to keep it a nice consistent texture, you can sieve them out and then regrind them again a second time. Just gonna leave that for a second to have the dust settle. Yeah, it's looking good. So there's some in the lid there. I definitely want to capture every bit of it. Oh, there are some chunkier bits there that we're going to regrind. When I do a mixed pepper seasoning, I'm going to use those for that. And I can just brush out with the brush all the dust so I don't waste any. When you're growing your own food, it's so nice to use every possible bit. So there we go. We got a nice just under half a jar of chipotle powder. So make sure that it's well sealed, so so that no moisture gets in there and then it starts to clump. So thanks for joining me, and I hope that you found this video to be useful, and I hope to see you again, and take care.